All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day number 10, which is the first day of our positioning section. I'll be your coach for the next 10 days, and I'll be taking you through what I call positioning, which really leads into marketing. It also takes what we've done during the first part of the session about purpose. It helps you figure out how do I take the purpose that I identified, the things that are important to me, the way that I want to be seen and be known, and package that in a way to attract people to do business with me. So I'll be blending that in as well as laying the foundation and the seeds for our next part, which is really going to lead to partnerships. All this stuff's going to tie together. So yesterday, I asked everyone to reflect on some questions, and I put those questions in the chat. So if you want to scroll up, I can actually just paste them here again. I'll put those what those are here, and then we'll talk through a couple of examples, and then we're going to take things to the next level and go a little bit deeper in this topic of positioning. So the questions that I asked you all to reflect on really come from like personal life experience, come from working with clients for over 20 years, and things that I've found as common denominators on how people go from taking a skill set that they have and monetizing it and turning it into a business. So, in order for you to be able to do that, you need to be able to filter the things that you know and the business that you want to operate through these four lenses. So the first one is who do I know, what do I know that has value? Who needs this and why now? Is the second. It's your offer. How do I explain my offer clearly? How do you make sure it connects to people who need it? And how do I guide people from interest to action? How do I get people to do the next thing? So let's go through each of these in detail, one by one. What do I know that has value? I mentioned last week when we were talking about AI and how it's really going to impact the economy overall, the job industry. I talked about the people who are going to do well in that are the people who've been able to pair what their skill and their life experiences are with some type of AI augmentation. The reason, as we go through this transition, we're not going to be able to go from like human labor directly into just complete robotic computer technology. People are still going to be valuable and needed because people have skills and expertise in things that technology can't replace. But the person who has augmented their skill set with AI is going to be more valuable in the marketplace because it's going to make that person more valuable to an employer. It's going to make that person more efficient in their own business. And it's also going to make that person be best prepared to come in and solve a problem that might need a human and an AI touch. So a lot of people in the marketing industry that do what I do have found that they had to adapt to this. If my business was the same as it was even 5 years ago, when my income and revenue depended on designing websites and designing flyers and marketing materials, was based on all those different branding things, I would be out of business. Okay. There would be no business because you could simply go to ChatGPT and use many of the marketing tools that a lot of today's technology has with AI implemented and do probably a good 70% of the things that I produce. Now, they may not be produced to the exact way that I would do it as a creative director in design. They may not necessarily be able to tell you what to do next and how to structure things and connect all the dots. But the end product that people typically look to buy from someone in this industry that I'm in can be developed with technology in just a couple of minutes. So that's just one of the early examples of how that technology is going to be impactful to careers and to jobs. You have whole agencies who have been doing all those things who now have to figure out how do they look in this next era that we go into. That's going to hit all professions that involve a computer. So if you work in a call center, I already have access to technology that I can put a number out there. Somebody could call that number and a full AI can take that call from start to finish. If you are doing any type of administrative work that involves data entry, asking questions, customer service, all those things are on the trajectory to be augmented with AI, if not replaced by AI. But even if you work in those industries, you as a person with that skill set is a valuable person because all those unique things that get escalated, that requires a human touch and a person to get involved, and the ability to be able to use AI technology is going to make you more valuable in your job and in your career. And if it's for your business, going to make you more valuable there too. So I talk about positioning in this way because positioning, when you think about the direction that we're going, you got to think about what's going to be unique and what's going to be valuable to you. I gave a lot of example about what that looks like in the workplace, but what does that look like for you as a business owner? If you're somebody who's trying to bring other people into business and you're going to be coaching and guiding them through how to start a business and how to do a business that you're doing, they have multiple people that they can choose from to do that with. What's going to make you more valuable than others? We have some great examples of people on here who have tied their life experiences into the business that they offer. Carmen today, this morning, just answered some of the questions. Let me tell you how she answered it so you can kind of get an example and reflect on how this may look for you. So the first question was, what do I know that has value? And her answer was, I know how to help women entrepreneurs, primarily women over 50, transition from traditional work into a lifestyle of entrepreneurship, flexibility, purpose, and community. So let me dissect that and break it down a little further for you. I know how to help women entrepreneurs. Calling out an audience, somebody who can identify as a woman entrepreneur can immediately connect themselves to that and know that, okay, she's speaking to me, primarily women over 50, a woman who might be an entrepreneur who might feel I'm later in life. And is it too late for me to be an entrepreneur? Is there a path for me? What direction can I go? Someone who's in that season of their life can immediately connect to that and then feel even more connected to the fact that Carmen is somebody who may be able to help them transition from traditional work into a lifestyle of entrepreneurship. Because of what I talked about previously, a lot of people are finding themselves either being taken out of the work field and out of the marketplace of employment, and needing to find something else. You have large segments of people. We had like the baby boomer generation, which has been the largest generation up until I think the millennials or the Gen Z might be just as large or something close to that. But they're coming out of the workplace and they're going into retirement. And a lot of people are looking to still supplement their income, supplement their retirement with some type of business. So there's all these good connecting points that she put into there. Going from traditional work to lifestyle of entrepreneurship is not easy. And rarely is anybody going to really walk you and guide you through. And she talks about flexibility, purpose, and community, which is I don't have to do this alone. I have some flexibility and some purpose some flexibility to be able to do this while I'm still working and employed. And all within that one sentence, she's really kind of defined who it is that she's best suited to help and to serve. So you see how we took one statement. What do I know that has value? That's what she identified through her life experiences and her skill set, and the tools that she has, the partnerships that she has with Planet Marketing and teletravel. She can use those as well as hers magazine to be able to offer all those things. Okay. So you see how you can tie what it is that you've been through, what your life experiences are, the relationships that you have, the access that you have to other people and platforms like 44Ps. All these things can play a part in what it is that you know that has value. You know how to show somebody how to earn income, building a team in the travel industry, or how to earn additional income selling travel and booking travel for people. So all those things are things that we commonly combine. But if you can take your life experiences and the things that life has prepared you to do well, based on your involvement and the experiences that you've had with other people in growing up, all those things are going to make you uniquely valuable in a unique way. So you can set your price. You can cost whatever you want to cost, because nobody can really replicate what it is that you've gone through and how you've gotten to where you are today. And there are going to be people who really tie and connect themselves to certain parts of that story. All right. So let's go to the next question. Who needs this and why now? So when we looked at Carmen's answer to that, she says women entrepreneurs over 50. I love that she addressed that in the first part too. So it's reinforced here. Women in transition. We talked about women who might be transitioning into retirement or out of the workplace. Women burned out from survival mode business building, which is definitely something that's very relatable. And women looking for freedom, flexibility, visibility, travel, community, leverage, and residual income. So all of those things are things that somebody can tie themselves to, something that person can look at themselves in their life and say, she's speaking to me. They don't have to be in front of her. She could make a reel simply stating everything that's in these four answers, post that up on an Instagram, post that up on a Facebook, pin it. And anytime somebody visits her profile, they would be able to hear that story. So imagine how that begins to work for her on her behalf. If she runs that as an ad, she sets the demographics on the ad to be women 50 plus, women in certain professions. Like there's all these different ways that she can take that one message and ride that out for the rest of the year as a lead generator. Okay. So this is why it's important for you to think through these things and really come up with what's going to be your way of presenting yourself. Because you literally, I tell you, I have people that I've bought things from, and I'm like, this dude literally says the same thing every video and has $800,000 in revenue a year. He intentionally never meets anybody on a sales call. He intentionally does not do any Zooms. He simply relies on ads and telling his story in a consistent way, clearly to the person who's going to resonate with what he's best suited to offer. And that was me. So I bought. Okay. Let's take a pause there. I see Carmen has a question.
I was trying to wait to the end, I promise, but you know you just be cutting up, Mike. You nailing it on the head, and I want to make sure that we're connecting the dots to Planet Marketing. So when we get people to say, I already been to a local meeting, I already listened to the IMV. If I have partners that say, something like that, that screams to me that they lack coachability. They lack, that's the beauty of this business. We don't have to do anything other than what's being offered. Like all of the systems is right there. Now if you are a person that have a little bit more creativity, you can use those enhancements. But those peak interests, how am I peaking the interest? How am I showing the plan? We might have a variety of ways of showing the plan. I have a variety of ways that I speak about this business because I know I'm going for a targeted audience of women entrepreneurs over the age of 50. I'm not serving every woman. I have men on my team. I love having men on my team. We work together very, very well. But my general messaging is for that targeted audiences. I just wanted to make sure that we understand how brilliant Mr. Bradley was for creating that system, not for individuals, but for the masses. So all we got to do is plug our people in and they can win with that PS3 system if they're consistent.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thanks for tying that back. Please continue to do so, to tie that back because y'all know I can start going off in all these different directions. All right. So we covered number one and number two. Let's touch on number three. Third question was how to explain my offer clearly. Communication is going to be so key and so important in any type of marketing and advertising. If people cannot understand what it is that you're offering or what you're talking about, you remove the opportunity for them to be able to see themselves in what it is that you do. So if I can't see myself in the way that you're talking about, we often hear about what's that called? The matching. What is that called when we do the match? Y'all know what
Mirror
I'm talking
matching.
about.
Mirror
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 match.
matching.
matching. Yeah. Like perfect example, clear communication. Someone said the other day, there's a lot of men who would be interested in this business, but they need to hear from another man's experience. So communication, how do you clearly explain what that offer is? So in the example that Carmen gave and how she answered that question, let's read that. It's I help women entrepreneurs over 50 build a more connected, visible, flexible, and profitable lifestyle through community travel, collaboration, and leverage income opportunities. So she says that her ecosystem is Be Well, for visibility and collaboration and community, Planet for travel, business, and leverage income opportunities, Retreats for connection, transformation, and experiences, the magazine for storytelling and visibility, and Be Well in Business, ongoing support, collaboration, and growth. So I can just look at these names on the list here of some of the people who are on this call, and many of you have expressed one of those things that you were looking for, and that's why you continue to read the magazine, to come to 4Ps coaching, while you continue to be a member of the Be Well community. You were looking for an income opportunity, connection, community. These things are valuable. So because it's clear and people can really see, like, yes, that's something that I have on my list that I know I need more of in my life, they can see themselves participating and joining and taking interest in that. Okay. So that's what is key. If your offer is not clear, if you're not speaking plain language, you're going to miss that opportunity to really connect with people. Let me go to the last question here, number four. And I'm doing this because I really want all of you to, after this call, reflect on what that looks like for you tomorrow. I'll get some time if we don't have any today, for some people, somebody to share out who maybe feel prepared for that. So the last one is, how do I guide people from interest to action? This is really all about doing the next thing, taking the next step. Okay, so if I look at the PS3 example, how do you take people from watching to video? You pique their interest. You show the plan. You do the three-way call. How do you get them to say yes and do the next thing? That's going to be important regardless of what business that you're in. So you always have to know, like, what is the conversion? We call that a conversion rate in the sales industry. How many people do I talk to? How many people do I convert from that conversation into the next? So if we follow Carmen's 10% rule and the 10% keeps showing up everywhere, that's going to be a really key thing. So let's look at what her answer to that was. This is an area where I'm continuing to grow. I'm naturally inspire and connect, but I'm learning the importance of creating clear pathways and calls to action. My goal is to move people through a simple flow, which is to inspire them, to identify, and then to invite. So here's what's possible. Do you see yourself in this? Here's the next step. You always have to be communicating what the next step is. If you're posting, if you're presenting, you need to be able to let people know that if there's anything that you heard or liked in what I just said or presented, here's what you can do next. I think a lot of times we assume people know what to do next. We spend all that time presenting and sharing information, but we don't invite them to do the next thing and give them a clear path to do so. We'll come on and share the information and say, okay, thank you very much for jumping on. Thank you for talking to me. Inbox me, reach out to me. Why can't you just directly take them to the next thing? Let that be. I put a link in the chat. Kimberly asked me about the person who makes the 800,000. Let me just tell you real quick about that. That guy is super dry, super boring. Looks like he needs to shave and shower. Not gonna lie, but that's his thing. But he, in all his stuff, he looks simply the same. But I listened to his podcast first, is where I came across him, and because he was speaking to me, he said, "Are you somebody who wants a one-person business? You want to do this, you want to do that?" All that stuff resonated with me, and because I listened to his podcast, every episode tells me what to do next. If this is you, go to paidtobringpeace.com, download my blueprints or my this. I went to the landing page because y'all know I love to look at landing pages and figure out what's working. But I wouldn't have gone to the landing page if he didn't resonate with me first. I would not have gone to the landing page and put my email address in if he didn't tell me where to go. Oftentimes we're talking about the business, but we're not giving people a clear path of what to do next. So it's important for you to figure out, like, how do I directly give somebody a clear path of what to do next? Because of that, I think I've spent probably $300 buying different products from him. Never met him, never heard from him, simply from Instagram. Speaking to me resonated with me, and it was something that I knew that I needed. So that's the power of being very clear on these four different examples, thinking through these questions and getting answers for you. Okay. So I'm at time. I want to just give a minute, see if anybody has any comments, questions, aha moments, any thoughts that came to mind, or any clarity that you need. What I would like, you can just raise your hand too. What I would like for you to do, if you did not come prepared for today, is to take those four questions and come prepared tomorrow, or put your answer inside of our group. And same way, you can go back and see Carmen's comments and answers to that question there too. So, hearing none and seeing none, I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, Director Denise is next to give us some thoughts on that topic and that conversation.
Oh, I have no problem giving thoughts on this conversation. Hey, Mike. Mike said it looks like that man needs to shave and shower. That's because Mike always so clean cut. You can definitely say that, Mike. Listen, here's the question I want to ask everybody just based on what Mike shared. First of all, again, good morning, everyone. We always ask, like this is good because Mike is making us think about what we have that's valuable to others, right? So I'm gonna go to the opposite end of the spectrum real quick and see who's bold enough to answer this question honestly. Who has a problem with themselves and their consistency? Because a lot of what positioning is being consistent enough to show up in a certain place. But who absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, knows that you make yourself sick? You get mad at yourself because you know it's something that you're supposed to do that you continue to not do for whatever reason. And I would love if somebody would share, like unmute, so we can hear your frustration in your own voice about your lack of consistency somewhere. Is there anybody who knows that about themselves? Thank you, AJ. Unmute, AJ. Tell us.
Good morning, everyone. So, yeah, she calling me out. That's okay because I love the accountability. But yeah, that's always been my issue. And my issue is the reason why I feel that I struggle with consistency is because I'm easily discouraged when I don't get the results that I'm anticipating, or when I feel like I'm stagnant and what I'm doing is not working. And so instead of regrouping or maybe going back to the drawing board and try to figure out a new strategy, or maybe I've done that already a few times and I'm still not pushing through the wall, that's what presses me down. And that's what I'm trying to work on changing my mindset, stop self-sabotaging, also building up my confidence. Like I have every confidence in what I have. I have confidence in Be Well organization. I have confidence in Planet Marketing, and I have confidence in IntelliTravel. But where the disconnect is within me and how I'm presenting myself and the messaging, I feel like somewhere there's a disconnect. So that's where I am, honestly, and I'm working through that because one thing I'm not a quitter.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that quick, succinct answer and very thorough answer. Now, how many of you, just by show of hands, not an emoji hand, because I want to call on Marvise next, but just if you're on camera, by show of hands, wouldn't believe that about AJ, just hearing her speak, right? Intelligent woman, very poised, very articulate, all of that. But that's how we cover up, so to speak. We can be the most proficient speaker out here, the most intelligent person you know, but there's still something underneath that shell that is blocking us getting to the next level. I see you shaking your head, Denise. You know what I'm talking about. So thank you for that 60-second answer, AJ. Marvise, 60 seconds or less. What is it about your area of weakness that you struggle with consistency wise?
Part of my problem is I worked a job for 28 years that burnt me out. And I'm just starting to get back a lot of things that AJ was talking about. So I'm starting to get back that confidence, starting to reconnect with people because I disconnected. So now I'm working on reconnecting, and that's a difficult job. And so I have to work on that consistency too, where I did get up for 28 years and go to a job. I don't necessarily do it for myself. So it's easier to do things for other people than it is for yourself. So I'm working on myself first.
Isn't that something? Easier. Thank you, Marvise, for that transparent answer. And Director Carmen, really quickly, because I'm not saying like you got to be quick. I just know I got to stay within the time frame. But you put something out there somewhere today. I might not respond to everything, but I usually see everything. And you said something that kind of sounded like something I would say. And sometimes my comments might be shady, something like throwing shade, but you know it. You said something today, something akin to thank you for those who actually show up. Something like that. Can you repeat that for us? It was something about, I knew what you meant. A whole bunch of people registered for 40/40, but not everybody is showing up and executing every day. Talk really quickly about that statement.
Yep. I said, shout out to those. I put this in my core messenger group where less than 10% ever respond, but I don't care because I'm a ramble anyway. So I just go in there and say whatever's on my mind. I said, shout out to those that didn't just register for the 4 Ps, 40/40, but actually attend and execute. Today is day one of positioning with Michael Damond. I'm excited.
Thank you. Now that's what you said, but what made you say that?
Uh,
Where did it come from?
Yeah, I was working on my content for, the rest of the 40/40 because we're gonna have some guest speakers. And I just said, man, these next 10 days about to be killing it. Mike is about to bring the noise. And the fact that I know for a fact that people signed up and they're so aimless, they so uncommitted, they so freaking inconsistent that they can't even give 30 minutes to their business. I'm not talking about the people that's at work, people that got legitimate reason, but we got people that's straight up satisfied and complacent. And then on out of that 10%, it's only going to be a 10% of us that's actually coming every day that's going to execute. So that was my messaging. That's what I was thinking.
Thank you. Thank you. See, when you start saying the freaking this and that, see that's the part I'm looking for, because I'll come out and say something like that, right? But Carmen is so poised, so much more poised in putting statements out like that. My point is this: sometimes you got to be crazy enough to keep showing up. Don't worry about who thinking what. Oh, I'm starting it again. I'll keep starting it. Mike, I'm crazy enough to tell you, guess what? I'm going to get on your calendar again if you let me. And one day I'm going to really, really execute what we put in place. I done got on Mike's calendar about 3 times, like every year, like the last 3 years. Like, Mike, okay, I'm ready. I need a landing page. Mike, I know this is what's keeping me from my next level. Mike, I know it. And he's so calm. Yep. DF Russell, you got everything you need. I can help you get there. All I got to do is go pull pictures. I got 20,000 pictures in my phone. Why have I not sent them to him? Because everything gets in the way, AJ. Everything. You said you get discouraged. I get distracted. I'm on my way to the nail shop because I got to go out of town tomorrow. I need my nails done. So I got up and turned the camera off, switch phone because I got to go to the nail shop. I got too much going on that I'm not always willing to stop all of it. And then I run around like a chicken with no head. Y'all, at some point, you get mad at yourself. And when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of you, of all the great things DF Russell is known for, great. But what DF Russell knows that she struggles with is the consistency on the one thing that may literally escalate your business. So what I wanted to just give based on what Mike has given us these 10 days is just a reminder to show up. And don't just show up today. Don't just show up for the 30-minute session, but then go execute it. And I'm not telling you anything that I'm not telling myself first. So, Mike, I'm looking forward to these 10 days. I'm looking forward to the push, to the challenge, to the charge, and the call out at the end of the 10 days to those of us who don't do what we say we're going to do. Thank you, Mike.
Hmm. Yeah, you're welcome. I love that what you just said. And I just put in the comments that that's when the change happens, when you are sick and tired of yourself. There's so many times where, unfortunately, that had to be the thing to propel me to action. And it just be like that sometimes. All right, Carmen, you closing us out?
I am Denise Hutton. You got 60 seconds.
Hey, 60 seconds. So, a couple of nights ago, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was doing some of the replays for the 40/40 and, responding. And then I got a comment from or a like or something from Wani. I'm like, what are you doing up? She's like, same thing you doing, replays, and I thought, wherever I have to fit it in, I'm going to have to force myself to do it because it is so difficult to be consistent. And, my time is my own. I'm probably blow most of it, but the thing is that I have to start forcing myself to do certain things in order to become consistent. I won't say that I'm consistent yet, but I am becoming consistent. I love this becoming term that everyone is using because it does. You are developing into someone else. And so I'm going to cut it off. Thank
That's
you.
good. That's good. That's good. We're going to continue this conversation on our online space, but I want to share with you guys, what are we doing today? Like I already know what my day looks like. I have a budget for the month. Today is a losing day if I don't generate $178 in sales. I have to have $178 in sales. I don't know what that's going to be. Is that going to be 20 people buying $10 journals? Is that going to be one retreat payment? I have 15 people on my list today. That's my conversation. I'm not afraid to have that conversation. See, we comfortable with getting on IMV. We're worried about people telling us no. I'm asking for the sale. I'm sifting and sorting. I'm giving you an opportunity to say no, I would like to, but I don't have the money, or nope, I'm not interested in none of your stuff. I have to sift and sort every day. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. If I don't hunt, I don't eat. I'm not afraid to ask for the sale. Can you get on the next Zoom to listen to about my travel business? I think it could really help you. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And that's the pressure that we have to put on the numbers instead of the people. That's what I want to share with you guys. What is my other bottom line today? And when I shut everything down at 8 o'clock tonight, all I want to know is that I make $178. Did I move my genealogy by 3 people? If I'm saying I want to be a 2-star by July 1st, that means 3 people somebody got to come off credit hold. We got to add a new partner. That's the bottom line. What I'm going to be posting in our space today is the following. I want you all to respond to, for those that utilize the online space. What PS3s have you done? For since we've been in 4040, have you done one? Have you done two? Have you done five? Where are we with our PS3s? I still believe the mirror matching in the PS3s is the very thing that, and especially if you don't have a lot of experience, that's what you need. You got to move yourself out of the way. Anybody that got new partners, I want that in the 4Ps community today. If you have made any travel bookings, we have 2 businesses. I don't want to just hear about building a team. I want to know you booking that travel, because that's some really good commission that we earn. If you got any bookings, I want to hear about that. People paid their deposits. We want to hear about that. Any progress or celebrations that you want to share with that, something that you've accomplished, something your team accomplished, because we can't come on here every week talking about, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. Regardless of what we need to do, it's some good things. Like, I'm proud of me. Say I've been here 7 days out of 11 days. I've been here all 10, 11 days. That's something that we should commend ourselves for, because we are showing up. Mike, I am so looking forward to the rest of this time. I'm doing everything. I came prepared. I'm like, this time, every homework assignment Mike give, I'm doing it. I'm applying it. So what I got to do for tomorrow? What I got to do for tomorrow, Mike? Because I'm doing everything.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so here's what I want you guys to ponder. I gave you those 4 questions, but I want you to prepare for what's coming up next. Here's a prompt. One thing I know, teach, create, solve, or have lived through that can help someone else is. So that'll help you bring together the stuff we talked about today. One thing I know, can teach, create, solve, or have lived through that could help someone else is. I want you to think about that, and I want you to think about the things that we highlighted today. Who is this going to resonate with? What's going to make them connect to it? How can they see themselves in it? Your answers should really be clear so that we can all close our eyes and visually listen to you, what your answer is to that question, and know exactly who it is you're talking to and who you're connecting with. Every reel that you put up on social media, every piece of content needs to open up with a very strong hook. We'll talk about hooks when we get to that point. But if people don't hear or see themselves in the first 3 seconds of what you're posting, on to the next. You're gonna get the swipe. Okay. So figure out what that thing is. And tomorrow I want you to come prepared to answer that. I'm gonna have everybody go through that. All right. That's our
Mike,
session for today. Oh yeah, go
thank
ahead.
you. Can you put that prompt in the chat or in our online space? Because I want to
Yeah.
make sure I copy it.
I'm gonna put it here in the chat and I'll put it there too.
Okay, thank you. Then that way you guys can take a picture of it, you'll have it, and you can be prepared for tomorrow.
All
Perfect.
right.
All right,
Have a
y'all.
good one.
Thank you. Have a good one. Everybody jump on off because we have a meeting so right on the same Zoom. So I want us to go right into it.